issue of social research. Last but not least, I would like to thank my sharpest critic, my wife Susan, for responding to my complaints and helping to keep the book on track. Introduction. In 1782, a French immigrant named Hector Saint-Jean de Crèvecoeur asked in his Letters from an American Farmer, "What is the American, this new man?" We have never stopped asking this question. One answer, standard for generations, is that an American is someone who subscribes to the principles set out in our founding documents, the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. America is, on this account, a creedal nation, perhaps the first in history, with Americans defined by an adherence to certain beliefs about equality, liberty, individual rights, and limited government. This idea of America as a creedal nation goes back to Alexis de Tocqueville, who found the peculiarity of our national experience, at least in relation to Europe, to be the absence of a feudal past, that is, the lack of a tradition of hierarchy, hereditary aristocracy, and serfdom, which of course is not quite true. What impressed him most about the American experience was what he called the generative fact of equality, from which all else derived. We could call this Tocqueville's thesis. It forms the traditional core of American patriotism. As Tocqueville outlined it, the American creed was by and large a liberal one. It grew out of the fortuitous combination of an extensive territory, a Protestant political culture, and an entrepreneurial middle class that was at liberty to pursue its economic purposes largely free of government supervision. There was a pleasing openness and even universalism about these aspirations. The American creed was understood as a product not of geography, tradition, or inheritance, but of reason. Its principles were not ours in any parochial sense, but the property of all who wanted to participate in the blessings of liberty. Anyone, on this account, could become an American. It requires only a willingness to express support for our founding creed and live by it. This conception of American selfhood has been developed and repeated by many of our most incisive students of politics, including Martin Diamond, Samuel Huntington, and Seymour Martin Lipset. Today, this Tocquevillian conception of America is under assault from those who regard Americans as less a creedal people than an ethnic nation. The new nationalism, not only in America but throughout the world, is about identity rather than aspiration. Taking a page from the multicultural left, it turns the nation into the ultimate identity group. Not race, class, or ethnicity, but national identity is said to form the core of peoplehood. The people, in their collective capacity, are said to define the nation. But what defines the people? The concept of the people and who speaks for them is one of the most contentious in current politics. It is a weapon for defining who is in and who is out. Nationalism is, by definition, exclusionary. Its appeal is often explicitly xenophobic, identifying enemies, both foreign and domestic, as posing an existential threat to the solidarity and purity of the nation. The new nationalism was given powerful expression in July 2019 at the National Conservatism Conference, held at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Washington, D.C. There, a range of media celebrities, policy analysts, journalists, and academics sought to give voice to this newfound sentiment of national solidarity. Today, the conference organizer declared, is our Independence Day, meaning independence from neoconservatism, libertarianism, and what they call classical liberalism. The conference was intended to replace the shibboleths of the old conservative orthodoxy, like free markets and limited government, with a new awareness of the state and national identity. Statist doesn't mean socialist, Aaron Sabarium, who covered the conference for the American Interest, has written, but it does tend to view the state as the expression of the nation, and the nation as the vehicle of a collective fate or destiny. Although the group sponsoring the conference calls itself the Edmund Burke Foundation, it seems to lack Burke's Whiggish sense of moderation and political prudence. It aims not to preserve, but to overthrow what it sees as the hegemony of classical liberalism,